Hello again, everyone. This is Hadasha Shulamite. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Also, please hit that notification bell. And if you do have a comment, please don't fail to post it. All right. Today we are going to talk about a story that's going to be coming to you in two parts. It's coming from the book of Judges, chapter 13 and 14. And I am going to refer to this as what is sweeter than honey and stronger than a lion. Now, this couple were in the field. The Bible doesn't say what they were doing, but they were in the field, so we can assume they were harvesting, they were planting, they were doing something, a husband and wife. And while they were in the field, a man approached the woman, and the Bible referred to her as Manoah's wife. Her husband's name was Manoah. And he said to her, "You are going to have a child." I guess you're saying, you're always coming with these stories about having a child. You know, it's one of the great events in life for parents. So I guess it's always relevant. And like I've mentioned before, these stories that I bring to you, they're just reminding us that we human beings, people, we have always been the same, ancient, maybe we dress differently or whatever, but our behaviors and everything continue to be the same. So let's get back to the story. And so the angel, well, this man was an angel. Of course, they didn't know it at the time. And he told her that she will conceive and bear a son. And she is not to eat any grapes or drink wine or any strong drink. And so she told her husband, she said, "I met this man and he told me that we're going to have a child." And so he said, "Who is this man? I want to talk to him as well." So I guess the next day or whenever it is, they went back into the field. The man came to her and she said, "Oh, my husband needs to talk to you." And she ran and got her husband, Manoah, and he came. And so he said to him, the man said to Manoah, everything that the woman said, that's what it is. So he asked him, "So what do we do with this child? What what instructions do you have?" He said, "Well, the child here is not to be cut. He's not to drink any wine or strong drink. And he's supposed to be this way, even before he was born." The Bible says he was a Nazarite. Now, a Nazarite was someone who was devoted to in the old Hebrew time, to God. And, that's the life they lived. They were separate. They didn't eat certain things. They didn't do any certain things. They didn't cut their hair. So as time went by, she gave birth to this boy child, and of course they followed the instructions of the man, the angel. But prior to that, after the angel had confirmed to the husband, Manoah, that they were indeed going to have a child, Manoah said, let's provide you something to eat and drink, and wanted to show their thanks and hospitality, that sort of thing. And the man said, "No, I'm not going to eat or drink. And what is your name?" "I'm not going to tell you my name either." So Manoah proceeded to do a sacrifice to God for the blessings that they were about to receive. And he killed the kid and he put the kid on the altar. I guess he made a makeshift altar there, and he lit the fire. And I don't know exactly what the angel did, but the Bible says he did something. But during that session I call it, of the sacrifice on the altar, all of a sudden the angel just went up into the flames, and they fell on their faces, because that's when they realized that this was no ordinary man. And so I guess they were breathless. And when they got up from their knees, from falling on their faces on the ground, of course by then he was gone. I guess it was them and the sacrifice and whatnot. So Manoah said to his wife, "We have seen the face, we have seen God, we're gonna die." And his wife said, I guess if it was one of our sisters, we'd be like, what is wrong with you? The angel came to give us a message that we're going to have a child. Why then would he turn around and cause us to die? That doesn't make any sense. In essence, that's what she said to him. And sure enough, they went on. I guess between then and when the child was born, there's nothing between that time. But they had the child, and of course, and they named him Samson. Most of the Christian world know about Samson and Delilah. Well, this is the same Samson we're going to be talking about here today. So when Samson grew up, into manhood, he was a big, strong guy. I think about Shaquille O'Neal, except for the locks, because he had locks, because they never cut his hair. He had to be bigger than Shaquille, because over the years, we have deteriorated in health, in everything, in height. I'm evidence of that, just 5 feet tall. But anyway, he went to his parents and he said, I went to Timnath. It's a place, I guess, a city that belonged to the Philistines. The Philistines were known to be heathens. They worship fake gods, and they made gods out of stone and whatnot. So the Hebrews were cautioned not to mingle with them, like marry with, intermarry and that sort of thing. So he came home one day to his parents and he said, I saw a woman in Timnath. She pleases me well. I want you to get her for me to wife. And his parents said, why would you want to go there? We've got beautiful girls in here among our own people. Why would you want to go there and get a woman from the heathen nation? And they weren't like on good terms or anything like that, these people. And of course, like everything else, there are always people among the group that they're kind of okay, you might get along with them and what have you. But the main issue was, according to God's word, that they were not supposed to marry and to mingle, like maybe do business with them and hi and how you doing, maybe share the gospel with them, but not to marry them. And so after he insisted that they would get him this woman to wife, I guess they had to, eventually they agreed and they went with him. And on their way, a young lion roared. I'm thinking they had to have been maybe ahead of Samson, a good way ahead of Samson, that they didn't hear the roar or realize that he had actually killed the lion. The Bible said it was like a kid. He grabbed hold of that lion and he killed him. And I'm thinking back in those days, because time has gone by, that even the animals deteriorated in size and strength. They're probably not as big as they used to be and whatnot. But he got that lion and he took care of him. So they went on, and I guess they went through whatever they had to go through to, make things, to validate the situation. Okay, this woman and the family talked and things like that. So after a while, he went back to see her. And on his way, he saw the jawbone of an ass or a donkey, as we would call it. And in there was a honeycomb, a beehive. And he ate the honey, gave some to his parents, but he never told them what happened. So this was time for the celebration, for the wedding celebration. And 30 of his friends, I think when I read the story, it seems as though these 30 men were from the Philistines. They weren't from the Hebrew nations. And while they were celebrating and everything, it got to a point where I guess they were sitting down and talking and whatever they did back then. And he said, I am going to put forth a riddle. And they said, tell us, say on. And he said, out of the eater came forth meat out of the out of the out of the eater came forth meat, out of the eater came forth sweet. And they couldn't figure it out. So 3 days went by and they still hadn't gotten it. So this celebration is supposed to last for a week, for 7 days. And when they realized that they weren't coming up with an answer, they decided to approach his wife. So they went to her and they said, listen, you need to get this riddle, the answer to this riddle for us, because if not, if you don't, we're going to burn you and your father and your house down. And the poor woman, I mean, I don't know back then what choice did she have, being a Philistine herself, and we don't know what the situation was with her and her father. She might have been, her and her sister and their dad. Maybe they weren't able to fight off these guys. Maybe there was nothing else that she could do. Maybe she was in cahoots with it. Who knows? But in any event, on the 7th day, after she kept pressing him, oh, you don't love me. Why would you not tell me? He said, I haven't even told my mother or my father. Why would I tell you? And she kept on him. You don't love me. If you loved me, you would have told me. So finally, she wore him out. And he told her, what is stronger than a lion and sweeter than the honeycomb? And of course, she passed that on to them. So he went back, and I guess there was a time when they were supposed to solve the riddle, and the plan was that he would give them 30 changes of raiment and a certain amount of silver if they would solve the riddle. And if they didn't, then he would have to give them the same thing. And so they, when he got it, said, and of course they were like, as if to say, we knew it all along. What's stronger than a lion and sweeter than honey? And he said, if y'all had not plowed with my heifer, you would not have known. In other words, I know y'all messed with my wife and caused her to tell. And Samson, he went and he got 30 foxes. And the Bible says he tied the two tails together and put a firebrand in the middle and led them through the cornfield and all their wheat and everything and the barley, and burned everything down. And when people heard, when the Philistines heard what happened, saw what happened, they called. And of course somebody had seen. Oh, it was Samson. He was mad because you all messed with his wife, and because he had to go now and kill 30. What he did was he killed 30 of their people, Philistine men. And so he took those 30 garments. It was supposed to be 30 changes of clothes, and I forgot how much gold or silver. And that's how he was able to give them what they asked for, because he was really upset. And after he did that, that's when they went and they burned the house and his wife and her father.